How's everyone doing? So, I made a video a while back. I asked everyone to really think about and write down 10 things that they think would really change their life. And in doing this exercise, I asked to ponder on it for about a day and then circle the one thing that you think would change your life the most. So this is kind of going to be part 2 of that video. A lot of you don't understand that you're not good at receiving, right? You're probably, most people are really good givers, right? We'll give our time, we'll give our money, we'll open the door for people, we'll buy people's lunch or dinner. Like, we're really good at giving, but we're not good at receiving, right? And so you're doing all of this work. Some of you are been on this journey for a minute, some of you are brand new. I just feel it's very important to start with this step in the very beginning, instead of wasting all of this time and getting so far down the road and then getting frustrated, right? So you circled the one thing you really, really wanted, and you've thought about it, and you truly believe that this one thing will change your life the most out of all the 10 things you wrote down. Now what you want to do is a thing called mindstorming, which I learned from Brian Tracy, which I recommend everybody get on his website and devour his information. The guy's a genius. Now what you got to do is the hard part. Now you have to write down 20 action steps that'll get you to the end result, right? And like he told me when I first found his information, was the first 5 are going to be really easy. The next 5 are going to be a lot harder. The next 5 are going to be painful. And the last 5 are going to be brutally painful. You really have to think. And what it does is it gets into the deepest recesses of your mind where all the answers are, right? So you write out these 20, and I don't care how long it takes, right? You're not only mindstorming, but you're also working with focus and willpower, which is extremely important. So you get your 20, and then you start looking at those as, pick one, it doesn't matter which one, and you take that action step, right? And as you start taking these action steps, you're going to start noticing things, synchronicities, right? The problem is if you're not receptive to receiving, and when I say receiving, I'm talking an idea, a compliment, a handshake from someone you don't know that could be the next avenue in your journey, right? We got to quit focusing on my way, right? God doesn't operate like that. The universe does not. The longer you try to make it your way, the longer they're on pause, right? They're going to do it their way, which you can't possibly fathom, right? And the more time you spend trying to make sure, oh, if I do this and I do that and I do this and everything works out, then that would happen. Okay, you just prolonged however long that process was of the universe not moving. You have to stop doing that. You have to take your action steps in faith, knowing whatever it is coming, right? And it's going to come in a miraculous way. That's how you know there's something else going on in this universe. It's not just you. It's going to seem natural, like it would have happened anyways, right? That's why it's so hard for people to have faith in God. Because when you look back on things that you've accomplished, you're like, well, that would have happened anyways. Well, no. And so that's a whole nother segment I'm going to do. So to get back to receiving, some of you are asking yourselves, well, I don't know if I'm a good receiver or a bad receiver. So what I found helpful is to just look back a day, a week, a month, and really think about when I got a compliment, what was my first reaction? Unconscious, right? I just unconsciously reacted to a compliment or a door being opened or somebody offered to buy my dinner, right? A friend or a family member. What was my unconscious first thought? Was it icky? Did someone say, hey, awesome job? And you responded to, yeah, it worked out for me this time. Usually it doesn't. Like, right? Now you're starting to understand, oh, okay, I do have an issue with receiving because we don't feel worthy. Right? Most of it's just from our upbringing. And you're not unique. Most people feel this way. Most people are not good receivers. That's why not many people are receiving lots. So one thing that first of all, you need to understand that most people understand receiving is part of, you got to give to receive, right? We all know that. The problem is, if you're giving, thinking that you're going to receive something, and that's your whole plan, and it's not natural, and you're not just freely giving, like you have to freely give. You can't give someone a shirt and then a week later go into your closet and be like, oh man, I wish I wouldn't have gave that shirt away. I really wanted to wear it today. Like, that's not, you didn't freely give that away, right? You're still holding on to that. There's so much information, and so many people are amazing. I mean, from Joe Dispenza to Tony Robbins to, I could go on and on. Mel Robbins to Ed Milet. You can get information on how to get on this journey and really transform your life. The problem I keep seeing occur is nobody's willing to do the hardest part, which is the beginning, which is setting the foundations and changing your habits, right? You're not going anywhere if you don't change your habits, right? Because all we are is a history of patterns that we've repeated over and over and over and over since we were programmed by 7, right? So if your program is negative beliefs, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, everyone else could do it, I can't do it, right? My parent was a drug addict, or you have just all these things that have happened in your life. Instead of focusing on the negative, find the good in it. Hey, my dad might have been an alcoholic, but you know what I learned through that process? I learned how to read people, right? Because when Dad came home, if he was angry, I could tell just by his footsteps, right? You need to start finding the value in all the lessons you've had to learn up to this point. And then you can start stacking those things up. But if we don't get the foundation set right, I've seen so many people 2, 3, 4 years into this journey and just quit because they can never get to the receiving stage because they're not willing to be honest with themselves, right? And I know from experience, you think you want $1 million, that's not really what you want. You want the emotion you think is going to be attached to that $1 million. Hey, if I had $1 million, I would feel free. I would feel content. I would feel relaxed. I would feel worry-free. That's what you really want. So start focusing on those feelings. And you can't focus on feelings until you understand what the feelings you're feeling are. And you have to start at the beginning. You can't fast forward ahead. You can't jump past all of the hard work and get to the Joe Dispenza and just think you're going to do what he's doing and your whole life's going to change, right? I just really feel like it's very important in the beginning to get all of these things set up properly. So with all that being said, okay, so what I think we should do for right now is you're going to do the mind storming, right? You're going to force yourself to sit down with a pad and paper and write out 10 action steps you think will get you towards whatever that goal is that you want, right? And when you have all 20 of those action steps down, then you're going to circle the one you feel has the most value, right? Whether that, like an example could be, I want to make $100,000 this year, and you wrote out 20 action steps. One of your action steps might have been selling 10 houses if you're a real estate agent, right? Right, that's your biggest one. You feel like if I sold 10 houses, I'd make 100 grand. Okay, so now we know, okay, right, now you can start piecing together, okay, well, how would I do that? What action steps off of this main one would I have to do to get to that goal, right? You're going to have to start, now you can start piecing this thing together on how exactly you're going to get. So what Brian Tracy says is that 3% of the universe, or 3% of people in the world have goals. And all the other 97% of people work for those 3%. So just let that soak in. That's how important having goals is. I can't, I don't feel right if I don't write my goals out. Like every day, it has to be done, right? And what it does is it just, our minds are like a heat-seeking missile. Once we learn all these basics and we can really get dialed into, okay, right, you start to build your foundation. Well, how are we going to build our foundation? Well, I got to do these steps one step at a time, right? You've heard the old saying, you know, if you tell yourself a lie enough, eventually you're going to believe it. Well, that's what you're doing in the beginning, right? I'm going to be a millionaire. Well, you know that's a lie at the moment because in the present you're not. Right? Is it going to be a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, right? That's where the whole beginning starts, right? You need to start understanding that I need to have good thoughts, which lead to good feeling, which raises my vibration, which will make me take action. Right? And as soon as you can start to kind of piece these things together a little bit, I would devour books. I would journal. You know, I created a journal, a New Paradigm 90-Day Challenge. I don't care whose journal you use. You have to, I feel like you have to be journaling. You have to get all of this, the negative out of you, and then you can start with just having positive stuff, right? You can get up and say 10 affirmations in the morning, every morning, for the rest of your life. But if you unconsciously go on for the rest of the day with your normal behaviors, you erased all those because you're living in the past or in the future, and it's all negative. You think, oh, poor me, or this future thing that I'm trying to do is not going to work out, right? So you have to get to where when you say those 10 affirmations or 5 or whatever it is that resonates with you, and then through the day, you need to stand guard at your mind so that you know, hey, wait a minute, I'm off track here. I just had a negative thought. Okay, let me reel that back in, right? I don't accept that. I don't like repetition. To me, is more valuable than compound interest. Like repetition is everything for me. You got to read, you know, people say, I read 700 books. Well, that's awesome. But I promise you, they didn't gain that much knowledge because you can't gain much knowledge reading a book one time. I mean, my mentor, Bob Proctor, told me, you read a chapter for 90 days straight. Every day for 90 days, one chapter. And what does that do? I understand that information. It's in every cell in my body. I don't have to think extremely hard about what he's trying to say. I understand it, right? Everything's an understanding. And so I want you guys to start this little process. And what I'm hoping is some of you will ask questions. I'm here to help. And if I don't have the answer, I will guide you to someone that I've studied and that I know would have the answers for you. So please, it's called mindstorming. Brian Tracy says it's created more millionaires than any other process in the world, ever. So, I don't know. Take a leap of faith. You know, I'm here to help. I just want to help people. You know, I've been on this journey. My whole life's changed. I'm not going to sit here and talk about all of that stuff. I just want to give you simple, free information where you can start changing your life. So if you found value in this, awesome. If not, please let me know. I'm okay with criticism. I'd like to know what I could do better. You know I don't have a tripod. I know it's super early in the morning. I'm half awake. I don't care. I appreciate you. Thank you. God bless.